fight is still being dictated by the left hand of Thomas, although he let his guard down in the last 30 seconds.
Let me get back to tonight. Hey, how are we going to do it now, champ? Hold this. Just hold this.
There you see our punch stats. Thomas thrown almost 400 punches in 7 rounds and landed over 200, a little better than 50%.
Give me face, stick it and move it. So you jam, move it, don't lose it.
And Trevor Berbick with comparable statistics.
Because I can do it. Come on, all you have to do is you want it more. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on.
Here we go. This may come down to conditioning, Ray.
I would agree. I think the fact that both fighters have been fighting inside from the first round on, and there Berbick just lawns at Pinklon Thomas.
It's the 8th round. We're going 12, remember.
Well, basically, both fighters are pretty much using strength far more than their own talent. Thomas, on the other hand, has been using his left jab. Not as much as he should or can, but I think in the early part of the round, he relied basically on strength and just trying to set Berbick up. But Berbick, again, is not an easy fighter to fight his defense to penetrate. The type of fight I like to see Pinklon Thomas in is when he's outside using that jab. Just beat this man to the punch, tripling and doubling his jab up.
Berbick staying busy.
Well, Berbick's best fight is inside, and you see how effective he is.
Berbick is now getting the better of it on the inside, which he wasn't earlier.
Well, when a guy decides to fight Berbick's style, it's almost fatal because Berbick is such a strong individual. And the way he executes his punches, he also gets the best out of the part.
You remember, we have Harold Letterman here, who is a judge, judging unofficially for HBO, and this is a very tough fight to judge, I would think, Ray.
Well, like Harold stated, you have to concentrate, really look at the fight. And by these fighters, fight inside, fight is close, throwing certain kind of punches, and you got to watch for the clean shots. It is a difficult fight to call because this is somewhat uncharacteristic of Pinklon Thomas fighting Berbick's fight. There's a cut over the left eye of Pinklon Thomas. I wonder if...
and we'll see. That could have an effect on it, really, because blood could get in that eye. Hard to tell exactly where it is. It seems to be in the corner, but up above the eye, and that's, of course, where you don't want one.
The right hand of Berbick just landed there.
And Berbick's very slowly starting to change the momentum of this fight.
And now you notice that Berbick is starting to lead off with his right hand.
Berbick keeping him in close. Good left hand by Berbick. Big round for Trevor Berbick so far.
You notice that Pinklon Thomas is fighting, throwing body shots, but his hands are down. So the type of punch that Berbick is throwing is starting to land, especially those head shots.
Thomas not quite as sharp as he was early on.
It's a brutal fight here.
Long left hand just grazed the chin of Thomas at the belt. And the crowd, Larry, starting to swing toward the challenger right now.
Well, that capacity for surprise that we spoke about earlier is here, and an underdog will always get the crowd on his side. But right now, the real issue is Thomas's left eye, and it is a real cut. It doesn't look now like it can be a fight-stopping cut. The flow of blood has not been serious enough to keep him from seeing the punches. But it's a cut, and it could have an influence on this fight. Harold, how do you see it so far?
Well, Larry, I think it's a very even fight to this point. And as Barry and Ray have been saying, when Trevor Berbick moves inside, he does land the scoring shots to the body. When Pinklon Thomas stays at a distance, he does very, very well with his left jab. And I think that Trevor Berbick had that great 8th round to even it up. It's a very close fight to this point, Larry.
Question I have in my mind is whether Pinklon Thomas is in the best shape he should be for a grueling fight like this.
Well, as you mentioned, there was a lot going on in Pinklon Thomas's life outside the boxing ring between the last time we saw him 279 days ago and now. So we'll see. We'll have the answer in about 9 minutes.
Well, it has not been a bed of roses for Pinklon Thomas, and it is a factor. I mean, it has to play a role with the fighter's mind, because in the ring, it takes a great deal of concentration. And you cannot concentrate with so many problems.
Of course, we asked him specifically about it. He said, no, it doesn't bother me at all. This is my show now. This is the way I want it.
Well, I would say the same thing, but if you ask me, I would say no. I mean, what you expect me to say? I won't tell you that I'm devastated by the departure of an Angelo Dundee or what have you.
And there is the cut opened up again over the left eye.
I noticed that Pinklon Thomas, he blinked a couple of times when the left jab of Trevor Berbick landed on that eye.
And Berbick continues to pepper him with the jab, but Thomas is keeping Berbick off him so far in this 9th round.
Well, to be honest with you, this is when you need a person like an Angelo Dundee to give you that motivation to really administer cuts, to give you that boost, to give you that resurgence of energy.
And a tremendous 3-punch combination by Berbick. All 3 of those punches right to the head of Thomas. Counter-punching right hand by Berbick.
See, this is when it's really frustrating and dangerous for a champion, because frustration becomes a key, becomes a factor. When you're cut, and then all of a sudden the crowd becomes fickle, goes for the underdog. It plays a role.
Crowd yelling, Berbick, Berbick.
Once again, Berbick is yelling at Pinklon Thomas to watch his style. I think it's been a very good round for Trevor Berbick. Stay close to his man. Look at his jab. He started working his own jab.
I can't help but wonder if he doesn't feel that Thomas is slowing down a little bit. Thomas not as sharp with his punches as he was earlier, and you could see Berbick catching him on the gloves. He wasn't catching that jab on the gloves early in the fight.
He's really, Berbick there is really frustrated and irritable about the thumbing.
Berbick has been the distance, so that is not a problem for him. Let's take a look at that devastating combination. A left, a short right, and a right back with a left. And from another angle. Berbick is really a strong fellow, and those are arm punches, but they hurt.
Right hand, you know, jab and left hook, you know. You gotta keep busy now. You gotta keep busy, Pink. You gotta throw more punches. That's how you win, okay? Once more.
Thomas was looking down at the canvas then as though he was seeing something that he hadn't anticipated seeing in this fight. Not only the 10th round, but the possibility of losing his championship.
That was exactly the look he had in his face. Ray Leonard and I talking about that while you were speaking, Larry, and he looks, Ray, to me like a tired fighter right now. In fact, he looks like a beaten fighter. I'm not saying he is, but that's the look I got.
Also, if you notice in Pinklon Thomas' corner, they have not administered to his eye. I mean, there's not been any work done. That's when the Angelo Dundees come in. That's when the Angelo Dundee becomes a role, plays a major role.
Well, Thomas has his hands full tonight. There's no win or lose. He has his hands full.
I think that was a good round for Trevor Berbick.
And again, Ray, the thing that strikes me is that jab, which was going right through the gloves of Berbick before, is being caught by Berbick now.
Well, Berbick, you notice also, Barry, that the left hand of Berbick, he raised it. So he's able to block some of those shots. There's no sense taking those punches if you don't have to. Because Berbick has a jab, and there you notice he threw his jab and it landed. So he has to start throwing more punches too.
Well, I've counted the last 4 jabs that Thomas has thrown have been caught by the gloves of Berbick.
Again, you notice Pinklon Thomas, he's really a tired fighter at this point.
One but caught by the gloves, another one caught by the gloves. He was short with one a moment ago. That one was caught by the gloves.
That's what's
great body shot right there.
Those are the kind of punches thrown by Berbick's going to work. Combination, not 1, but 3, 4, 5 punches. Don't rely upon one punch. That was good upper body movement by Trevor Berbick. He's very elusive there. Bobbing and weaving.
And again, the jabs being caught by the gloves of Trevor Berbick.
Come on, work it out, work it out.
Now watch Berbick go to work here. He's inside. Now this is his fight again. Little short shots. They don't seem like much, but again, he's a very strong individual.
Thomas a little arm weary, and Berbick comes right back.
Berbick starts to go to work again, throwing 2, 3 left hooks. There's left hook again, Barry.
And another.
Here we go again, another left hook. And Thomas still has not raised that right hand of his.
It looks almost as if Pinklon Thomas has run into a wall, the kind of wall that long-distance runners are used to, when suddenly they just can't go anymore.
I don't want to get too close. Don't in fight, man. Outside. Stay outside the jab, okay? And throw left hook, you know? Left hook, okay?
This fight is becoming a lesson in the fact that a fighter should fight, and he should surround himself with the right people to take his mind off everything else but the fighting.
Okay, now? All right, come on now. Do what Anderson. Jump on that.
There you see our punch stats. Berbick still landing about 50% of his punches.
Berbick still complaining to Richard Steele about the thumbing.